Oh, wow. That is UEFA came through right there. There was no way they were going to deny Real Madrid today. There was no way that UEFA was going to deny the Ancelotti, Mbappe against their former teams in the semifinal because Ancelotti also used to coach at PSG. Mbappe played at PSG. There was no way they were going to deny that script. And he only touches the ball once, and Atletico Madrid got screwed in the penalty shootout. But again, UEFA, it's no different than the NFL. It's no different than the NBA. The Champions League at the end of the day is all scripted entertainment. It is all predetermined. The winner is selected before every single season. The teams to meet in each round is decided long before it happens. VAR got the memo that there was no chance that we weren't going to have Mbappe against PSG. Ancelotti against his former team, PSG. Coached at PSG, coached at Bayern. Then he coached at Everton and he coached at Real Madrid. So, in case if you weren't familiar, Ancelotti was also a manager of PSG. So, PSG did go up against Real Madrid, but I think that was when Zidane was there. But this is the first time as manager that Ancelotti would go up against PSG in knockouts of Champions League. So it's already predetermined. Aston Villa have zero chance. PSG are going through to go up against Real Madrid in the semifinal. And then this will be just like 2015, where everybody was ready to say El Clasico final, Ronaldo, Messi, Champions League final, El Clasico, El Clasico, El Clasico. But El Clasico was never the script in 2015. In 2015, the script called for Buffon and Pirlo to return to the same stadium where they won the World Cup with Italia. So that was the real script in 2015. They never wanted El Clasico in 2015. They just wanted people to think that El Clasico was going to happen when Real Madrid were in the semifinal against Juventus and then Bayern were against Barcelona in 2015. I think history will show that another Bayern Munich semifinal, Barcelona beat Bayern and then win the final like they did in 2015. I think they destroyed Pep Guardiola's Bayern in that 2015 semifinal. It was over after one leg. But yeah, Atletico got screwed. But again, Mbappe, Vinicius, that team brings in more commercial money. I wouldn't mind seeing Atletico Arsenal. That'd be a really good quarterfinal tie. But the script for Arsenal and Real Madrid, Odegaard, former Real Madrid player. So Odegaard, former Real Madrid player. You see, Odegaard goes up against Real Madrid. And Bukayo Saka should be back around that time, but there's no striker to play the ball to. I think Real Madrid will have no problems with Arsenal. We'll see how the center backs of Gabriel and Saliba handle Real Madrid's front line. But Martin Odegaard, Arsenal bought against Real Madrid, their club captain, going up against Real Madrid in the next round of the knockouts. And so again, if you wait for scripted entertainment, what did you see from Aston Villa? You see, Unai Emery used to coach PSG. Unai Emery is now with Aston Villa. So the script called for Unai Emery with Aston Villa to go up against his former team, PSG. He was there for 2 seasons, and then they got rid of him because of Champions League disappointment. He went on to win Europa with Villarreal. Then he became Aston Villa's manager, and they're in the FA Cup, and they'll make it to the semifinal because they're playing Preston North, and they made it to top 4. So, but Unai Emery goes up against his former team, so it was predetermined for Liverpool to lose. It was scripted for Donnarumma to win another penalty shootout at England because at England, at Wembley, he won the Euro with Italia over England. He returns to England, this time at Liverpool, defeats Liverpool in England with PSG. So that penalty shootout was scripted for Donnarumma to be the hero. Once it was about to go to the penalty shootout, it was over then. Donnarumma, it was game over. PSG players looked confident. Liverpool players looked petrified. They looked out of sorts. They looked nervous. Liverpool knew. Even Mohamed Salah kind of looked sad, and he looked miserable before shooting that penalty kick. So I didn't think it was nerves at all. I think it was they knew they were going to lose. And they were going full Darwin, no pun intended, to lose that penalty shootout. And I'm waiting. I don't know which minute it was, but apparently Vinicius missed a penalty during regulation today. I'm waiting. Vinicius acted like he won. He didn't do anything during this match. He didn't do anything. Simeone was really upbeat. He was, after he lost the penalty shootout, he was pumping up the crowd. You know what? That's kind of mentality that you need. You don't want to linger over losses for too long. You have 2 other opportunities to win a trophy. In the Copa del Rey and in La Liga. You're at home against Barcelona. So Diego Simeone was pumping up the crowd for Sunday because that's a very big match, Atletico Madrid-Barcelona. So he's pumping up the crowd for that. That was BS. Real Madrid, that offsides against Leipzig. I mean, Real Madrid get all the calls in Europe, but it doesn't mean they want them to make it to the final. But the Mbappe humiliation ritual is happening. Yamal, Golden Boy, beats his France, wins the Euro. Then now he's going to win Champions League. And Mbappe would be stuck with 0 Champions League titles. This reminds, Ronaldo won with Man United, right? It was Messi 3, Ronaldo. It was Messi 4, Ronaldo 1. So Ronaldo had a lot of catching up to do. Yamal looks like he's going to win the Champions League first before Mbappe. Imagine Mbappe. He's been here since 2016 with Monaco, making it to the semifinal against Juventus. And then he goes to PSG looking to win. He gets injured. City win the semifinal. They lose the final in 2020. And they missed all their shots last year. They just couldn't. They hit the woodwork too much against Borussia Dortmund. But now you leave PSG, and PSG can make it to the final the first year after you leave. And this teenage wonder boy that nobody heard of until June last year, this guy takes your spot in the spotlight. He wins Euro and he wins Champions League. Can you imagine? Can you imagine what Yamal is going to do? Can you imagine? That was a great strike by Raphinha. I have to see how many goals he scored. I have to see who Barcelona's contributions, the clutch goals and the knockouts going to be. Raphinha's had some clutch goals in the league, and against Real Madrid, I know. He'll probably be one of the contenders for the Ballon d'Or, certainly. Mo Salah, 69, and Modric, the 69th Ballon d'Or winner edition. Football Club Barcelona is 68. But Real Madrid have played 12 Champions League matches this season. I like their 15th match to be against PSG in the semifinal. PSG is 15. Real Madrid are 15-time Champions League winners. And I believe Real Madrid are going to end the campaign with 16 Champions League matches, seeking and pursuing that 16th Champions League title. And that 16th match would be against Luis Enrique. Luis is Gematria 16. But PSG are beating Aston Villa. You know what's funny? In Gematria, it's Villa, that's 56, and then 56 is also Gematria Paris, France, where PSG play at Paris, France, Gematria 56. Of course, I've got some Champions League quarterfinal videos to do. The code of the Real Madrid PSG semifinal, but I believe PSG have what it takes to win. PSG play good team ball. People help out in defensive duties. They got rid of the egos. Whatever. Neymar couldn't work well with Mbappe, and Mbappe hates Messi and Messi's friend Neymar. So the egos couldn't coexist. And these forwards are going to help out in the defensive duties. So PSG, there's not one Mr. Hot Shot. I have to have the ball and I have to score. Vitinha is playing very good for that PSG team. And Ousmane Dembele, at this point of his career, is a leader that these players can look forward to. And Donnarumma's mediocre, but I don't think he's lived up to the hype of Gianluigi Buffon. But Donnarumma in a penalty shootout, he might be number 2 behind Emiliano Martinez. Martinez is the GOAT of penalty shootouts, but Donnarumma, this guy is right up there. I think he's won 5 out of 6 penalty shootouts or something like that. I mean, I thought maybe Emiliano Martinez is the GOAT, obviously. He won against Netherlands. He won against France. He won against Colombia in Copa America quarterfinal in 2021, and he won against Ecuador on the 4th of July. So Emiliano Martinez is the penalty shootout GOAT. But I believe that the match is clear. Messi left for PSG. Barca win their next Champions League or PSG. Barcelona can get revenge for last year's quarterfinal against PSG. Barcelona 5-3 in Champions League final, and of course in Gematria it's Paris. That's Gematria 63, and they can beat former. And again, as we talked about, Ancelotti used to manage PSG. Unai Emery used to manage PSG. He's up against PSG. Now, Luis Enrique won Barcelona's last title. So, former Barca manager Enrique and Dembele versus Barca in the final. And Luis Enrique is a former player for Barcelona. I think PSG are going to throw the final because Luis Enrique's Barcelona, Dembele's Barcelona. I don't know if he's Barcelona at heart, but if anyone's going to fix that final, I think it's PSG's manager, Luis Enrique, because this guy's Barcelona for life. You see if he played for Barca and he became manager for Barca. That 6-1 comeback, Barcelona, PSG, and Luis Enrique's knockout record would be 6-1 as manager of PSG, entering the final 3-1 last year. Oh wait, he's 2. Okay, he's 5-1. Well, 5-1 is Gematria of Allianz Stadium. He lost the semifinal, so he's 2-1, then 3-1, 4-1 and 5-1, and Allianz Stadium is 51. Let me just double check. I think Liverpool is just a confirmation bias, really. Salah, Ballon d'Or, Salah, final, blah blah. I mean, I'm glad Liverpool didn't win because I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they didn't. I guess all will be forgiven with the Hazel disaster as a Juventino, only if Juventus and Agnelli takes over the club and hires Jurgen Klopp. I hope Juventus. I won't believe it till I see it. I hope Andrea Agnelli can come back, and I hope that Jurgen Klopp can become manager. But I don't believe that. I won't believe it till I see it. Ancelotti's trying to buy the club from his cousin John Elkann Exor. So I don't know how true these rumors are, but UEFA hates Agnelli because he wanted to go to the Super League, and Juventus get screwed by referees in Europe because they're angry that Agnelli was the mastermind of the Super League, and it upset his friend Alexander Seferin, the president of UEFA. And I just couldn't explain why. You see, Real Madrid and Fiorentino Perez wanted the Super League, but Seferin had no problem awarding Real Madrid the Champions League, even though Real Madrid wanted the Super League too. I don't know what's up with that, really. UEFA, they're in freaking bed with Real Madrid. They're in freaking bed with these guys. Real Madrid, I had winning Champions League before the season. Now I like Barca. I had Barca before the knockout, by the way. Real Madrid win the Champions League at San Siro. Can Ancelotti return to San Siro in 2027? Is the 2027 final at San Siro? Let me double check. Just imagine a game like this going to extra time, and Atletico have played a very physically daunting match. This could benefit Barcelona on Sunday. Atletico Madrid played 120 minutes. Liverpool played 120 minutes. Have to go up against Newcastle. It's going to be pretty interesting to see how these matches turn out on Sunday. Yeah. Enrique's going to throw that game with the substitutions. I guarantee you. I think everyone's going to bet on Mbappe against Yamal, but the real script they want is Paris against Barca. It's a curveball. Just like everyone was barking, Ancelotti, Real Madrid against AC Milan. They thought Ancelotti and Real Madrid, AC Milan in the final, blah, blah. But really, it was about Inter and Kalinoglu, a Turkish player, made it to the final at Turkey, and Roberto Mancini used to be Inter manager, and then he went over and he helped Man City win the Premier League for the first time in like 44 years. And it was a former Inter manager that won Man City the Premier League, and then they go up against Inter in the Champions League final. Inter have no chance against Bayern. Barca semifinal. Bayern are going to destroy Inter. People are going to hype up Bayern Munich. I think Bayern will win next year. I think next year lines up very well for Harry Kane. But this year it is Barcelona. I think they'll rig one for Harry Kane. I do. Is he leaving? Is he leaving Bayern, and Harry Kane decides to come back and he wins a scripted Champions League? So I think they'll script it for Harry Kane next year because Harry's Camacho 34. It's the 34th edition of the Champions League. So, if Bayern can destroy Leverkusen like that, if they can destroy Inter, company will be ready. And the Real Madrid refs again. The Ligt scored last year in the extra time, but ran out of time. I blew my whistle. The match is over. And Bayern were angry. You see, Real Madrid get the calls all the time. The offsides against Bayern. Benatia, he never fouled it. It was never a penalty. Buffon's last match in the Champions League as the starting goalkeeper of Juventus. That was never a penalty. These guys had an offside goal against Red Bull Leipzig last year. These guys did all the calls in Europe. This was never a doubt that Real Madrid were going to go through to the next round because the script calls for Mbappe and Ancelotti to go up against PSG. This is real. This is WWE. I think they put 3 Italian teams in the quarterfinals in 2023 despite Andrea Agnelli having an all-Italian semifinal. This was for Alexander Seferin to spite Andrea Agnelli, to see Inter and and AC Milan in the semifinal. It was to get back at Andrea Agnelli. I guarantee you. That was behind the Napoli Milan and the Milan Inter. Inter have no chance. Give me Bayern every day, any day of the week over Inter. This team hasn't knocked out any team in the knockout of the Champions League. I don't give a damn if Juventus are rebuilding. I don't give a damn. If you want to be the pride of Italy, you have to beat a top contender. You have to beat a Barcelona like Juventus did in 2017 quarterfinal. You have to defeat Real Madrid in semifinal 2015 of the semifinals of the Champions League as they did in 2015. Juventus needed extra time. They lost against Bayern at Bavaria in extra time in 2016. Can Inter push it to extra time? No, they're going to lose in regular time. Juventus, they should have beat Bayern, but they blew a 2-goal lead in the 90th minute, and it went into extra time. You're so close to beating Bayern. If you talk about the pride of Italia, Inter, you're not going to get your asses whooped against Bayern Blitzkrieg. Die Bayern! Die Bayern! I like Barcelona, but I think PSG can make it to the final. For the record, Alex, are you? What's your team? You know who my team is, obviously now because of my spiel that I went the last couple minutes. You have a Spanish name, so are you Real Madrid or Barcelona? Are these your teams, or you got another team? I'm just curious. Okay, if you're a Real Madrid fan, I can understand. The Barca not going to win. Barca not going to win. But I hate Barcelona. I hate them because Pogba was fouled in the box in the final. Barca paid for referees. Now, Barca paid for referees. I wonder if those refs in the final were paid because Pogba got lynched by Danny. I think it was Danny Alves. He got lynched. He got taken down to the ground. They grabbed him by his shoulder in the box. No penalty. Should have been 2-1 Juve. When did the penalty happen? 76, 80th minute? I wonder when it happened. South America is going to win in 2026. And now I say South America because, I think, basically, how you go about it, they win Brazil after Pele's death, or it's going to be the greatest footballer, Lionel Messi, winning a repeat championship in the World Cup after the death of the GOAT Pele. I like Messi in Argentina to win. It's good that Julian Alvarez has playing time now. Atletico Madrid, Rodrigo de Paul, Julian Alvarez in a La Liga title race. It takes a strong mentality to go toe-to-toe with Real Madrid and Barcelona. The Argentina have an elite mentality now that they're the biggest, baddest motherfuckers in the block, and they're going to go bully you out on that pitch. Atletico, a very scrappy, dirty team the good way. That's what you need to win. You need to be a badass motherfucker to win. You still want to be nice guys. Oh, we respect you. We want to. No, you got to be the dirtiest ass motherfucker out there on the pitch. A lot of these knockout matches, they have only one goal. It's a 1-1, and you need a last goal. You need in Argentina. It's weird. I mean, it's scripted. They just had to win in dramatic fashion. I think Argentina are capable of defending a late goal lead, but I think all these matches are scripted. That equalizer by Netherlands, that equalizer by Ecuador and Copa America, and in the France comeback, it's like I mean. I think Argentina are capable of defending the lead, but I think these matches are rigged for the drama surrounding the matches. I like Brazil at Saudi Arabia. If Brazil don't win this World Cup, they're winning 2034. Brazil is number 2 on my list. Argentina is number 1. No matter what, I like a Carnival to win. I hope Italia wins the World Cup, but if I'm being here instead of here, the heart, then we will not win World Cup. Hopefully, Italia win, but I don't think so. I think Italia needs to play a little bit more Italian football. They press with Mancini, but they need to. I think they need to show some flair like the Spanish game, because no matter what, if you can go back to a very good defensive shape immediately after you lose the ball, you're going to be very good defensively. Italia's never going to be a bad defense. They're always going to be among the best defensively. You got to. It's about getting into a very, very quick defensive shape after you lose the ball. That's what that needs to happen. I think they have that the FIGC. You can have a thesis and have a coaching license over there. You see, that's my thesis. Is that if Italia want to win the World Cup, they got to be much better at attack with the ball, and that there's no excuse. Being organized defensively is about getting into a very quick defensive shape after you lose the ball. I think Barcelona have had a pretty good defense. There's no reason why you can't. I mean, there's no reason why Italia don't need to play the eye line, whatever. This you just have to show some flair a little bit. Kind of like the game is too robotic with the possession, and just got to show some flair, some creativity with the ball. That's all you have to do. When did Vinicius miss that penalty? I don't think I'm quite there yet. I'm watching the replay. I was gone today. I saw the penalty shootout. I have to watch the penalty shootout. Mamma mia! This is a much entertaining penalty shootout than yesterday. Liverpool, I'm glad they lost. PSG, Barca over PSG is like 9.5 to 1. For me, Yamal is Barcelona got destroyed 2-8 by Bayern, and they can win the Champions League at their stadium. Oh, this Bayern Barcelona. Is this a rivalry that's going to be back? I cannot wait till that semifinal. Mamma mia. Nada Inter at 0 chance. It sucks that Juventus is dicking around the last 5 years. But hey, even your down years rebuilding, you still win trophies. That's what Juventus have done. They still win some trophies. This is a very, very big club. We were in a Scudetto race in February last year, but then Inter won the Derby d'Italiana. Own goal by Federico Gatti. How did Allegri do this? How did Allegri do this? How did he do this? Mota is underachieving. He must go. Mota must be sacked. De Cherby is going to go to Milan. He's a Milan Academy graduate. Roberto De Cherby. Milan are retards if they don't hire this guy. You want someone who is passionate about your shirt. And Roberto De Cherby is passionate about the Milan shirt. And this is a guy who they should have fired over Fonseca. I like Fonseca, but I think Milan have too many selfish players. They got to get rid of some of the selfish players who have a personal agenda and they don't play well as a team. They got to get rid of some of these egos. You see, they must stop hiring these inter managers. These guys are snakes. They're serpents de la Madonina. They're a bunch of snakes. And everyone likes to say, Thiago Motta is an inter agent. Consegal, inter agent. Aha, says serpent de la Madonina. We the snakes. We are a bunch of snakes, literally. Well, why would Consecal risk his reputation? He thought he could win with Milan. It was only a 6-month contract. He thought he could do something with him. Napoli, these guys have to. We need Atalanta. Ideally, I would like them to beat Inter, but get a result against Inter. Get a result against Inter at Bergamo. Europa champions. Inter are losers in European finals. And I like to go about Juventus Champions League finals, but nobody was beating Messi and Ronaldo. Atletico Madrid lost 2 finals because Ronaldo and Messi were simply legendary and nobody was beating them. You were just great at the wrong time because Messi and Ronaldo is something that will not be repeated. This is an extraordinary era. It will not be repeated ever again. Don't say Yamal's going to be Messi, blah, blah, blah. He may be the next face of Barcelona, but he's not Messi. He will not be Messi. No, nobody will be Messi. Nobody will be Messi. But 2030 World Cup is clearly going to be UEFA, and clearly only 2 teams we should look at. Who's FIFA going to rig it for? Zidane and Mbappe or Yamal? Yamal ain't losing at his home country. I'm going with Yamal in Spain to win over Zidane and Mbappe. I think France is the biggest football rival of Italia. I think I will go for Spain to win in 2030. I am considering. I am giving Zidane and Mbappe a chance. When Messi wins this next World Cup, he'll be immortal. I don't think you can have 2 guys win 4 straight World Cups. Mbappe and Messi and Messi and Mbappe. I don't think so. But if we see Real Madrid and Barcelona, Yamal and Mbappe 2030 final, scripted final, with drama, Mbappe, and that's what I love about betting is you can bet on to make the final, even if they don't win. You can place a bet on a team to make the final, even if they don't win the final. That's a perfect way of earning some coin in case if they don't win the tournament outright. You know, I think I'll use the lessons from the Euro with England to apply this logic in future competitions. Make the final, Barcelona in the Champions League, in case if they lose or whatever. But I think that this would be appropriate just in case. When did he miss the penalty? Oh, he missed it in the 70th minute. How did he miss it? How did he miss it? This is a joke. How the hell did Juventus lose to freaking PSV? How is this is a joke? Get rid of Thiago Motta. He's terrible. What the hell did I watch last Sunday? This was terrible. This guy has no shame. It's time to get rid of him. How do we like the Europa League tomorrow? I'm in trouble or I'm not in trouble? I'm in trouble if Roma win because I elected to go with uh I believe La Liga is the best. The best teams are in La Liga. The most competitive league is the Premier League. Premier League is the most competitive top four race, but the best teams are in Spain. Athletic Bilbao are the best team outside of Atleti and Real and Barca. So Nico Williams, I really like. He won the Euro with Spain. So the other guy, their goal scorer, I think, is not going to be ready to go. Olmed or something. Dybala was trading separately with Roma, so I think Dybala's going to play. But Olmed on Bilbao, he's their top goal scorer and he's injured. Yeah. John. He's the Messiah. He's invincible. He will never ever lose a match again. The only thing that can stop Argentina is injury from Messi. And Mamma Mia, that Copa America final, Mamma Mia. They ended a 28-match unbeaten streak of Colombia without Messi on the pitch. This is a team that can repeat and win this World Cup and win a four-peat across major tournaments. When you beat a Colombia 28 matches unbeaten without Messi, you have a strong chance of repeating. Alvarez is getting playing time that he doesn't get at Man City. Paul is the heart and soul of Atleti's midfield. You see, these guys, Atletico Madrid's mentality, you see, if you see Juventus struggling right now, we got to look at Atletico Madrid. Are they able to replace these players and they're still among the best in Europe? You see, this is what they have to model themselves after. It doesn't matter who you think is going to win between Brazil and Argentina. Carnival should win after Pele's death. That is conclusion. That is the most definite conclusion. What is up for debate is which team is it going to be between Argentina and Brazil? That's the only debate that's left. But I believe Diego Maradona's death is signaling the repeat for Argentina for the first World Cup repeat since 1962. And how I'm looking at it is Diego Maradona is Camacho 62, the last repeat in World Cup in 1962. Argentina will beat England. We're waiting for Argentina, England. No finalissima. England win the Euro. This was my theory, was that England was going to win the Euro and they're going to go up against Argentina in finalissima. But because Spain won the Euro, this means we are waiting for that moment in the next World Cup. We're waiting for the moment when it's going to happen. We are waiting for Argentina against England and Diego Maradona smiling in the heavens with the fuck you, England. The cooked up Maradona in 2018. This guy's a living legend. He just doesn't give a fuck and he enjoys life, man. That is a real ass G right there. This guy's a freaking legend. He just celebrated. He was just embracing the moment. It was his last World Cup that he was going to be in the living memory for. So yeah, Diego Maradona. This guy was. I will never forget his celebration after that goal against Nigeria. Imagine after Diego Maradona's death if Napoli win two Scudettos. They did win the Scudetto in the year that Argentina won the World Cup. Imagine if Napoli win another Scudetto. Inter are the snake. This is the year of the snake. Um, but Tottenham didn't win the Premier League in the year of the rooster, and they're a chicken, and the rooster's the chicken. But instead, Antonio Conte won the Premier League in 2017. People are saying Tottenham were going to win in 2017 because of the rooster year and the Chinese zodiac. On IFTV's Facebook pages, I'm talking shit about Inter every single week. Fuck Inter, man. Antonio said the old guy, Antonio. I don't understand. Like he's an AC Milan fan, but he hates Inter more than I do. What did Inter ever do to him? I thought Milan fans hated the Juventus more than Inter, but this guy hates, hates Inter, hates Inter. This Milan fan on IFTV, an old guy, Antonio is his name. Antonio, the goat from Bari, is his name. The goat from Bari. I think most Milan fans hate Juventus more than Inter. This is kind of a sibling uh, relationship, I guess. The Milan Inter rivalry has been more heated in recent years, but Juventus were never a heated rival with Milan because for the majority of the time, both teams were not in the Scudetto at the same time in the same season. But Juventus, Inter, Coppa, Derby Italia, Inter owned Telecom Italia, and they were calling refs, the select referees too, just like Lazio and Fiorentina and Milan. But Juventus were the big boogeyman. They were the scapegoat because they were winning, and people hate winners. So Juventus were the were the scapegoat. The media lied and said it was Juventus fine referees, this and that. No, every single big team was calling referees to select a favorable referee. Every single big team was doing so, including Inter, including Ronati, who was wiretapped, calling, looking, can you get me a good referee for this game? You see, Inter are garbage. They would never have made the Champions League final 2023 because Barcelona got screwed out of penalty at San Siro. Barcelona got screwed out of penalty. It was the very same exact foul. Referee gave penalty to Inter. He didn't give a penalty to Barcelona. And they should have been relegated to the Europa League that year in Inter. And they had the easiest of all easiest draws in the history of the world. Porto and Benfica and a mediocre Milan. Wow. Don't have to go against Bayern. Don't have to go against Real Madrid or Man City. Don't have to go up against another Premier League team like Liverpool. I mean, everyone knows Tottenham are shit. Everyone in Italy knows Tottenham are shit. Inter, their first year back, returning to the Champions League, they beat Tottenham in the group stage. Juventus, they knocked out Tottenham 2018. Milan, they knocked out Tottenham in 2023. So in Italia, Tottenham's this whipping boy club. They asked Mike Kelly, and he said it was in the history of the Tottenham after Juventus came back against Tottenham. They still lose against Milan. That Milan team was shit. They lost 1-0 on aggregate. Tottenham lost 1-0 on aggregate against Milan. That is just terrible. Milan are awful. And they should never ever qualified for Champions League because Juventus never finished in seventh, but because of a point deduction, Milan were in the Champions League and they should have finished fifth. Delusions of grandeur from these Inter fans. You see, 22-23, Juventus beat Inter twice in the Campionato in the championship. This year, we took 4 out of 6 points against Inter in the championship. Their last win against Juventus came on an own goal. They couldn't even score a goal. How shit must Juventus be in a rebuilding year when Inter, their last win against Juventus, you need an own goal by Gatti to win? This is what frustrates us about this team right here. They're capable of winning. What's the longest amount of time that Juventus have gone without the Scudetto? If Ronaldo's number 7, if Juventus have lost 7 finals in the Champions League, it would not surprise me if Juventus go 7 years without Scudetto. Juventus is not just a football club, but it is a way of life. Fight and conquer for your dreams and aspirations until the end. Fino alla fine. This is not just a club, but fino alla fine is a way of life. You must conquer and be victor and achieve your aspirations and your dreams all the way until the end, even when it seems as they're impossible. But you keep on pushing, you never give up. You fight all the way until the end. Fino alla fine. That is the Juventus way. That is the Juventus way. Barcelona are winning Champions League this year. Barca winning Champions League. It's easy to be good when you're in La Liga because you see a lot of people or most people in the Americas speak Spanish. And we understand the broadcast. Um, that's what gives La Liga a marketing advantage. Is that you can live in Colombia or Costa Rica or uh, Mexico, Chile, and you can watch La Liga because this is your language and you can understand the commentators. I wonder if there's like Spanish commentary of the Italian league. I wonder if they got English announcers. What about Spanish commentators? Serie A in Spanish. First result, Reddit or Serie A. This isn't talked about much, but I enjoy soccer, football in Spanish, but I can't seem to find anything in the U.S. legally that broadcast in Spanish any hell. Serie A in Spanish, 2023. It was deleted by the person who originally posted it. Why? Why? In Football Libre, you can watch the Serie A with Spanish narrators, not illegally. Haha, illegal stream. You see, I have given up these illegal streams a long time ago. I have no fucking patience to reboot a fucking stream, so I'm done with that shit. And Juventus banter year is finishing in the Champions League again. The only time they did make the Champions League was because of a point deduction. This means everybody else is shit. Seriously, they're all shit. I still say Santiago Mota. This guy's terrible. His reaction to post-game, his comments, he's a joke. Get rid of this clown. He's playing guys out of position. He's terrible. Even with Gatti, you should have been able to beat Eindhoven. The same team you beat 3-0 in the first Champions League match of the season. And you draw 0-0 against Club Brugge. This is mad. What is Real Madrid saved that 30-goal goal? Wow, this was crazy. This is insane. Well, Simeone's a choker because he is not the guy to win the Champions League. Well, he doesn't have the payroll. He doesn't have the players that Real Madrid have or Bayern have. So I'd say Simeone is doing extraordinary work. Everything lines up for Argentina repeat. And now, excluding these preseason friendlies, Messi, 34 trophies with Barca. His 34th World Cup match to win the back-to-back. He's at 26 World Cup matches, and that's 26 plus 8. And 3 years and 4 days after that Inter Miami contract, Messi's going to win the repeat in the World Cup, the Messiah. Speaking about Trump, he's a white supremacist. He wants all white cabinet, all white America. Argentina, a country with a high white complexion. So I'm thinking about the current president, Donald Trump, 34-time convicted felon. You'll see the white team Argentina wins and Brazil with more black players. Magpies is Camacho 70. Newcastle can win their first trophy in 70 years. They probably do have a chance after that 120 minutes that Liverpool played. Atletico Madrid, how they do against Barcelona? This team is hard to beat. Guy stretched out hamstrings. It's a brutal game. 96 minutes, extra time. It's not like a normal match where it can end after 90 minutes. I mean, this is a pretty hard thing to do. Vinicius acted like he won the tie. He didn't do shit. He fluffed the penalty. I don't know how people like these ties ending in penalties. I think the favorite came through in every single one of them, except for Man City. Yeah, Man City lost in the penalties last year. He's a pretty long time player. Aspilicueta, he played with Chelsea for a lot of these years. UEFA is just, they love Real Madrid and their commercialization. It's rigged against Atletico Madrid. Real Madrid are just better commercially having Mbappe in the semifinal instead of a Julian Alvarez and Atletico Madrid. They know it's back to Atletico Madrid, but they have to buy a world class striker. Then Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid can maybe win Champions League. They have to buy an elite world class type player to complement Alvarez. Atletico Madrid made this a very entertaining tie. Atletico Madrid's defense definitely got the best of Real Madrid. I mean, they could easily rig this game for Real Madrid to win 3-2, but instead, Atletico Madrid pushed it to penalty. So that this shows how much skill Atletico Madrid have, and that is to commend their effort. And the bad thing about extra time, obviously, is that no team wants to make a mistake and then they decide we want to take our chances with penalties. So, from what I see right here, it doesn't look like Real Madrid was going to try to push for the goal. I don't get the hate for Simeone. It's not his fault Atletico lost. You don't have the payroll that Real Madrid has. You don't have the superstars Real Madrid has. It's a miracle that Atletico Madrid makes itself competitive in these kind of environments. Give Simeone Real Madrid. He can still win with Real Madrid. Uh, Give anyone else Atletico Madrid. Are they who they are today? If you have anyone but Diego Simeone, he beat Liverpool in the Champions League. And he beat Pinaldo and flunked Chester United. He knows a thing or two about beating English teams. Lost to Chelsea when Chelsea won the scripted Champions League because I think Chelsea were like, we're going to drop out of this Super League. Yeah, that was rigged for Chelsea. And we beat Arsenal in the Europa 2018 semifinal. Atletico Madrid won the Europa. Europa's more interesting when Champions League teams aren't dropping out and just being relegated to the Europa League. It's just more interesting that way. I mean, the Champions League is pretty predictable, except for like Liverpool against PSG. Like you have the ability to predict PSG based off of the Mbappe and Ancelotti script, but yeah, Liverpool were a pretty big favorite entering that knockout tie, obviously. What I believe, Yamal's, Espana's come out to 20. Spain is hosting the World Cup 20 years after they won. Does this mean Spain will win? Maybe, maybe not. And when we break down the Mbappe, yeah, Yamal connection, and when we break it all down, I mean, yeah, Zidane, Camacho 32, yeah. Spain is 23, and Les Boys is 23, and France today is 2-2 in World Cup finals, so they can fall to 2-3 and improve the 3-2. This Yamal guy being blessed by Lionel Messi, this must be considered. This must put Spain over France in 2030. Because he's not going to make it back to the final after 2030. This guy is like 18 or something, maybe 24 in 2030. Mamma mia. Mamma mia. Maya. What other good players for Spain are there? Vinicius sucked. Why do you act like he win this time? He sucks with Brazil. What a crybaby campaign this was. Man City are nobodies without Rodri. This guy proved he's the right winner of the Ballon d'Or last year. I don't know if I'll be here for Inter and Bayern, but damn well, we're going to be here. We're going to see them suffer and lose. Oh, Victor are going to beat Bayern. No, they're not. Okay, ha ha ha. Bayern and the Inter curse. That's a script. Ha ha. This is not your Jose Mourinho. We rig and we cheat. They caught Chapo, you see, because it would never been good if they were able to poach players from Juventus. And so there's an asterisk behind Inter's title in 2010. They've never ever been able to buy these players from Juventus without the Calciopoli fake Fugazi. Inter should have been docked 30 points. Juventus should have been docked 30 points. Milan should have been docked 30 points. We must start the Campionato all fresh, but instead Inter was granted a monopoly, even though they were guilty of committing the very same crimes that all those clubs punished were committing. Yes, again, Telecom Italia owned Inter. They own the recordings. I hope so, John. I hope so. People are going to doubt Messi, blah, blah, blah. But he must win MLS Cup and must rest up for the World Cup. And in February, and when the MLS begins, in March and in April, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's meaningless. The MLS begins in July, in August, in September, in October. So rest Messi as much as you can during February, March, and April next year during the beginning of the MLS Championship in anticipation of the World Cup. He can still win MLS Cup that year after winning the World Cup because he's the king of America. He must win MLS this year, and he must win it again the very next year. He's at 44 or 45 trophies. Lionel Messi's 51. He's getting 6 more trophies. He's getting the 51. You know he's getting the 51. Inter Miami got a red card. They still had 1-0 against Charlotte last week without Messi in the lineup. So this team is too good. They no excuse to win this year. They're going to win. And they're winning. The Apple TV must make the money from the investment into Lionel Messi. Inter Miami lost in the first round of the playoffs. That's not what Apple paid for. They're okay with that. Apple's going to make the money back and some more when Messi advances to the final of the MLS Cup and wins it this year. They're about to start the penalty shoot. I'm watching the I'm rewatching the game.
All right, let's get you back out into the commentators for this next 15 minutes. Chris Whittingham and Ray Hudson.
Diego Simeone getting the crowd going. Before the start of the second period of extra time, Hamas unable to finish. Last chance at the end of the first period of extra time. What else did we expect? Because this one is going all the way down. An incredible game of football that Diego Simeone responded to brilliantly as Diego Simeone predicted. He's beaten it in full blast, but up against the indomitable spirit of Real Madrid, who will be impervious to this raucous Atletico Madrid, full fanaticism, and are still in the ring.
Which knockout tie is Roy Hudson going to have for the quarterfinal? Arsenal, Real Madrid, English team, Roy Hudson, English man, right? Anybody who thinks Arsenal has a chance over Real Madrid, you're deluded. They do not have a chance. Well, where's the first leg going to be at? Arsenal, the Real Madrid. April 8th, April 16th. First leg is at the Emirates. How do Arsenal have a 40% win percentage and Real Madrid 33%? According to Google. I don't know how these algorithms work. If it's close, Real Madrid are going to get a call by the referee over Arsenal. All right, I think I've said all I need to vent about. Good night, everybody. And we continue the coverage of the Champions League, and I could be back for a recap of the Europa League tomorrow. I still like Bilbao to win. I know Ranieri, Roma have been very good. But La Liga is the best in the world at the moment. Atletico lost to a La Liga team in the Champions League. They didn't lose to any other country. I'm giving the doubt to Bilbao, even without their top goal scorer. Will Dybala play? Dybala will play. Italian teams, don't win a lot of matches at Spain, but all Roma need is a 1-1 draw. Roma will be playing a very defensive game. Roma have to win to qualify for Champions League. Bilbao are in the fourth spot. So it'll be interesting to see how that shapes up tomorrow.